Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today on Channels Television. I'm Sheung Okimbaloye. Nigerians are counting days and weeks since President Muhammadu Buhari was inaugurated as president. In fact, we're entering into the 8th week of the assumption of office. Many Nigerians may now look impatient considering the magnitude of work before the Buhari government. But considering the fact that his party, the All Progressives Congress, campaigned vigorously using the change mantra, the excitement may not be misplaced. For example, so many people want to know, even from the second day of President Buhari in office, his cabinet, his immediate policies, and the welfareist agenda for the people, just as they promised during the electionary campaign. In short, they want a speedy action in office. Well, aside the fact that he wants to fix the many challenges facing the nation, President Buhari is faced with the burden of settling his party that looks like it's on a highway to an unfortunate implosion less than 2 years since it was formed. The crisis rocking the party over the choice of National Assembly leadership has opened up the many holes in its fabric. Before the almost a month-long recess, the two chambers of the National Assembly were still unsettled about who gets what. The party has intervened. President Buhari, whom before now has said he doesn't want to interfere, did not have a choice but to wade in. Former Speaker Aminu Tambuwal was asked to chair a committee to reconcile the different factions. After several meetings, there were hopes the crisis was headed for a ditch, but when, with a letter sent by the Speaker of the House, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, to the chairman of the party, Chief John Oyegun, it appears the end may not be in sight. But the National Assembly will no longer resume on the 24th of July as scheduled. A week has been added to the holiday. But as the lawmakers plan to return, what is the way out of a stalemate? In the midst of the National Assembly crisis is the unhealthy state of finances of several states of the Federation who currently are unable to pay salaries. The federal government came in with the announced payment of funds which is meant to serve as a bailout to some of these states that has become so much controversial now, as a federal lawmaker has taken the federal government to court, challenging the right of the FG in bailing states out. Now, what is the legality and perhaps the veracity of the federal government's actions trying to help the states? You know also that Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is visiting the United States. He will be meeting the American President Barack Obama, and issues relating to insurgency and anti-corruption fight will top their meeting and the agenda there. My guest on the program will help give perspectives to the matter. Joining us from our Abuja studio is a former federal lawmaker, Senator Joseph Waku. He represented Benue Northwest constituency of Benue State from 1999 to 2003. He was a member of the Arewa Consultative Forum, a group he became the vice chairman and was vocal on the rights of the northern minorities. We're a pleasure to have you join us on the program. Just before we start the conversation, Senator Waku, let me show you quickly some of the situation on the ground now as regarding the APC and how they've been able, how far they've gone in resolving the crisis rocking the National Assembly over the issue of leadership. Let me start by showing you just how you remember what everybody was talking about, or some members of the House, the National Assembly were talking about, is the issue of zoning, which of the region gets what. But if we look at how things are now, from the position of the president to the vice president, and what region has what, you discover that the president, who is from Katsina State, he's from the northwest region of the country. The vice president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, from Ogun State, southwestern part of the country. Senate President Bukola Saraki from Kwara State, north central region of the country. And the Speaker Yakubu Dogara, Bauchi State, the northeastern part of the country. And the major talk from the National Assembly is the issue of zoning. How will the balance, how will it all pan out? And this is because the controversy that we see today. But Senator Waku, tell me, with what we've seen, it's been somewhat of a precedent at the National Assembly where this balance has set in, and we've seen the regions being evenly represented. But from what you have seen so far and what we have seen play out in the APC on how they can balance things out. How do you think the party has handled this matter?
Yeah, I want to thank you very much with this kind of revolutions and projections. The simple reason for all these, it is lack of the national secretariat leadership handling this matter in the manner that all concerns would have accepted the world forward. In the first place, they said there was no zoning, and as a result of that, it became a fight for all, and everybody threw in his mind. And as a result, the North Central was lucky enough to claim the seat of the Nigerian Senate presidency, and the South East took the position of Deputy Senate President. Then you talk about the zoning. I think the APC didn't manage the affair properly by not ab initio calling for the zoning of the offices. If that happens, it could have been the people from that geopolitical zone that would have been able to come out to fight or solicit support among themselves. Now, let me tell you clearly, when we came in 1999, we, with the PDP, had overwhelming majority of 66 senators, which was comfortable majority, though it did not have two-thirds. But then there were these arrangement of zoning that the Senate presidency went to the Southeast, and it was all among the southern, I mean the southeastern senators that were vying for that office. But when you throw it open and Nigerian senators elected at that particular time also want to exercise their democratic right by gunning for such offices. And for party now to turn around to say, hey, we have zone, not even for the particular zone, but to an individual, I think that was not proper done.
Well, the party waded in at some point, even before the 8th Assembly was inaugurated, and they conducted what they called the mock election. Tell me what to make of that election. Do you think it was right for the party to go ahead to decide the fate of the leadership of the National Assembly before they went into the chambers?
The most irresponsible thing that the party leadership did, it was that what I describe as a mockery election and not mock election, mockery election. You cannot put your children together and you decide now to discriminate among themselves. Of course they will revolt. And besides, when that so-called mock election was to take place, the selected people that they had in mind. Don't forget that I am not in the Senate today, but I am too much informed about what is happening in this country, in and out of chambers. I have developed interest in the democratic settings, and therefore, I work towards it in and out of chambers to ensure that the right thing is done, and when it is not done properly, it is my duty to make comments over those things that are done but not properly. Therefore, the National Secretariat acted so mischievously to select who they wanted to do. For whatever reason, it failed. And that is where we are today. The National Secretariat didn't handle it well. The leadership was so biased. I could not accuse the leadership of corruption, but from their acts and behaviors, they can be accused of corruption and shown some level of biasness.